So there's like
her room is
two
pretty
plastic
bare.
bags. It's a dorm room.
It's
I went to
pretty bare.
UMass. Like when you leave for the holidays, you have to pack up your room. There's still stuff hanging in her closets. There's still stuff on her desk. You can see in the background there's her soap and toiletries.
Her computer and stereo are still there.
Yeah, her computer and stereo are still there. And then there's two plastic bags on the ground that are open. And to me, it looks like she had returned and hadn't unpacked yet and was just kind of like living out of these bags and hanging stuff up in her closet as she was going through the bags, which I have done.
I have to say, you get those up and out there because they're very interesting. I think some people might find other items in the room. You know, you never know what people might find important. But it does change in my mind that now I think, without a doubt, she was coming back.
Yeah.
She was coming back to the dorm.
The statements about her room being packed up, like, it's not packed up. It doesn't look especially lived in, but then again, it wasn't especially lived in at that time, recently back. You know, I guess the bags of clothes might be what they were referencing, the police were referencing and saying that it was packed.
I believe that they were referring to things that were on her bed, but they don't show the picture of the bed. Oh, yeah, the picture's not there. Yeah, there were, what, two boxes? Yeah, I don't know if they said how many, but they said that there were boxes.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see her toiletries next to the refrigerator. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, those carry things?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the shower caddy. So she was using that stuff. Yeah, it's not packed.
Yeah, it might be my bias because I didn't believe it was packed to begin with, but I don't think it looks packed. No. So it really, to me, begs the question of why Scarinza came to the conclusion that she had definitely packed up.
It was clear from a search of her room that she had packed her belongings and had intended to leave school.
She didn't tell anybody where she was going other than emails she sent to professors saying that there had been a death in the family and that she needed to leave unexpectedly.
There had not been a death in the family. So it was a clear indication to law enforcement and the investigators that it was her intention to leave. Why she chose or arrived in the Haverhill, New Hampshire area at this point is an unknown.
I wonder if Art and Maggie asked Lieutenant Scarinza why he was so sure about her packing up.
No, because nobody is investigating the conduct of the police, you know.
Yeah.
They don't care. And to be fair, it doesn't really have a whole lot to do with finding Maura.
I believe that it does. It creates misdirection.
Yeah.
So if we're wondering why it seemed plausible for someone to author a book about Maura leaving her life, packing up and heading off to Canada, well, I think that some responsibility lies in Scarinza's hands, because that whole narrative probably wouldn't have as much credibility as it credibility, I'm using that like in air quotes, as it does if not for these kinds of statements. And this is like a page and a half, and the first half is all unnecessary information that has to do with the state of her dorm room, her personal issues with her boyfriend. One single line paragraph, there was no death in the family. It paints a picture that no wonder you have people running away with these theories.
Yep.
So I think that there is a danger of misdirecting away from what actually happened, because if there's somebody out there that might know something, but they keep hearing over and over, oh, well, no, actually she was suicidal and that's why she was heading there. Oh, no, actually she was heading to Canada. Well, maybe they're not so likely to come forward with that information if they're not entirely sure.
Right.
So we also got provided the receipt from the liquor store.
That's pretty cool.
Before Maura left Hadley, Mass. And it's completely redacted as far as what she bought.
Which is weird.
But yeah,
well, I actually don't think so. Talking to the police who gave this to us, you know, you can see it.
Yeah.
You know, basically it's just the timestamp and...
Which is $3.43?
$3.43, and the cost on it is
$38.31 of booze.
And the part that I agree with is that $38.31 of alcohol, like worth of alcohol in 2004, is significant for more than one person. Whether she was traveling with somebody or planning to meet somebody to distribute the alcohol is the big redacted part. That's the part that we just don't know.
Right.
And in these interviews when we were talking about the redactions, they were saying, because the booze was missing from the car. So whoever picked her up, if they finally find that person, are they she had this, and this with her? Or was someone standing in line with her and saw her with somebody else saying, I saw her with this guy buying this, and this. So there is an investigative reason for why the booze is redacted.
Yeah, because where did the booze go? It wasn't all in the car.
No.
Right.
It was not in the car.
So that's bizarre.
Maura then stopped at a local liquor store. At the liquor store, Maura bought a bottle of Kahlua, a bottle of Bailey's, a bottle of vodka, and a box of red wine.
Maura's stop to the liquor store is known because the receipt of what she purchases is later found in her wrecked car.
Kahlua, Bailey's, and vodka are known for making a White Russian. No one understands why Maura bought such a large quantity of alcohol for if she was traveling alone.
There was surveillance camera at the ATM, so we could see still photographs where she walked up to the ATM, withdrew the money, and there didn't appear to be anybody in the background or anywhere that we could see from the camera photos.
What booze do we know that she bought? Because that's where it gets very complex to me.
What I can say is what was left in the car. So we do know that she went to the liquor store around UMass, and the police have a receipt of what she purchased, and then I do know what was left in the vehicle. And so there was a box of Franzia wine that was opened in the back seat, behind the driver's seat. There was a 12-pack of sky blue wine coolers. And then this is where people have gotten this wrong for 16 years, but people said she bought Bailey's, which is partially true. She did buy Bailey's, but she only bought one of those little nips.
Right.
Those little $2, $1 nips of Bailey. So she didn't have a full bottle of Bailey's. So without saying too much, that's what was left in the car.
So is there other things that were left in the car that you think are helping law enforcement and the family with the investigation?
Yes, and there was other things not left in the car.
Right, so items possibly from the booze list that weren't found in the car.
Yes.
Okay. That's interesting.
So what I will say is that some of the booze that was left in the car was purchased previously.
So it's just booze that she had.
Yeah, so just like extra booze. And when you don't have a lot of money and you're a college kid and you've got some extra booze and you're trying to go on this trip, why buy more? Just use up what you got.
When I've showed or broke down some of the, again, not a lot of the speculation from what happened before the wreck or speculation after the wreck, but just this is what we know from the actual crash site. And then you have a neighbor calling in 911, and they have reported about this man smoking, which people have come up with different speculations that it was a light on her cell phone. But every investigator that I've brought that up to has said, well, I want to know who was smoking by the car. And I said, well, I think most people have looked into that and they've come up with explanations. But just because some people on the internet came up with some explanations doesn't mean that there wasn't a guy smoking by that car that night.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it's actually one of the few pieces of actual evidence that we have, because in the dispatch log, it says man smoking a cigarette.
Right.
In the dispatch log.
Yeah. And
so
then
we can come up. Go ahead.
I was going to say, then people then state, well, that she kind of changes her story later. And I go, well, isn't the most accurate story the one that she told and what they wrote down immediately?
You'd think that'd be logical. You'd think so. I mean,
what does the booze mean to you?
It means that mudslides were her favorite drink of choice. Or no, Black Russians.
White Russians.
Is it White Russians?
This is a drinking show. This is a drinking show.
All
George.
I know is it's not good for CrossFit. It's too much sugar, and it's going to affect my Fran time, so I can't have it.
This is why you have a clean room. No, but what I mean by it is I'm going, anybody. Why would you buy a certain level of booze